with Roe v. Wade overturned.
Here's the
Christ, our mighty champion, on Calvary, take our sin and bear the wrath of Almighty God. And I hear men say this is cosmic child abuse. My heart, I don't know whether to cry or go to battle. It is the most precious truth to me because my sins are so high that only a work like that can save me. Once I was preaching at a secular university, and as I was preaching on the atonement, this student stood up and he said, "I got a question for you." I said, "What?" "How can one man suffering for a few short hours on a cross save a multitude of men, a countless multitude, according to you, of men from eternal judgment?" I said, "Son, you meant it for evil, but God will mean it for good. Thank you for that question. Now sit down." You want to know how that one man dying alone for a few short hours on a tree can save a multitude of men from an eternity in hell? Because that one man is worth more than all of them put together. You take mountains and molehills, crickets and clowns. You take everything, every planet, every star, every form of beauty, everything that sings, everything that brings delight, and you put it all in the scale. Then you put Christ on the other side, and he outweighs them all. He outweighs them all. Brethren, this is the one we chase after. Go to your studies. Go to your studies. Flee there, not to become smarter than the next man, but to behold his glory until it hurts you and disintegrates you and reconstitutes you and makes you a preacher.
Paul Washer speaking at the 2016 Shepherds Conference, as you saw it there on the screen. Thanks for joining Len Pettis and I, BTWN Guyz here. Following up on discussion we had last week about Paul Washer. Paul Washer, Len said that Paul wasn't his cup of tea and criticized his emotionalism. A lot of people got upset at Len Pettis for that. I wanted to play that as an example and then talk about it with Len Len, let's start with the fact that you say that he's a heretic.
Okay. Timestamp, please. Never said that.
You didn't say he was a heretic.
No.
You didn't say he teaches anything false.
Sure didn't. I said Paul Washer is at his best when he's teaching the scriptures, if I can quote myself, because I edited the video. So, yeah. And by the way, I can give a hearty amen to every word Paul Washer just said. It's 100% biblically accurate. But it's like, it's not my cup of tea. It's like, I don't know if you remember when Glenn Beck was on Fox News.
Yeah.
He was like the Paul Washer of news. Everything made him weep. And fine. Look, if you love Paul Washer and he helps you to love Jesus more, watch him. I never said anybody should not watch him. I never said he's not solid. I said that I'm not moved by the emotionalism. I'm over that.
I think you did say you're not buying it, though.
I am. I'm not.
You think he's pretending? He's not calling you out. See, that's the thing Len and I here do. If you're not familiar with the show, don't get upset when we disagree, or like if you hear me say something you disagree with and Len doesn't correct me, which usually doesn't happen, but you hear Len say something that you disagree with and I don't challenge him on it, and I let it stand. Well, not everything gets called out here. Sometimes they do. A lot does get called out.
And by the way, this podcast just may not be for you. If you're looking for a Christian echo chamber, you are in the wrong place. Because if there's one thing that I will always be is biblical, and what I will never be is popular. So yeah, I mean, I've gone back and forth in comments with a couple people, and the comment section can be summed up in this, that if you want to expose a man's idol, just touch it. And yeah, that's kind of the way I feel that a lot of people treat this man like he's some kind of infallible preacher. And listen, he's a fine preacher. Everything he said there it's not just within Christian orthodoxy. It's not just within Reformed orthodoxy or New Covenant orthodoxy or Calvinistic orthodoxy. I mean, everything he said can be backed by Scripture. Like I said, if watching Paul Washer makes you love Jesus more, great, watch him. Why do you care what I think of him?
Stop.
Seriously.
Well, we do a podcast. We put our opinions out there, and they comment on it. That's
sure.
That's the point of the show, Len.
And people are open. They're totally listen. If I had said that, if I had accused Paul Washer of heresy, then you have a case against me. But watching that, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for Paul Washer.
He's putting it all out there. He's putting it all out there.
Well, I get emotional in worship, dude. I can be listening to music in my car, or in church in worship, and I weep. There are things that trigger me to weeping. But it's not every song. It's not.
Paul Washer is not he's not, I don't think he's a pastor. A lot of people think he is. He doesn't preach every Sunday.
He's an itinerant preacher.
And one thing that he rarely does, if ever, this is actually something you can critique if you want to. He doesn't preach exegetically through a text.
And that's fine. I have no problem with topical preaching.
that clip that I shared made me want to go study my Bible, but I don't know that I could, and it made me emotional. And I don't know that I would want my pastor preaching like that every Sunday. I don't think I could take that every Sunday.
Nobody can.
Now
Nobody
here's the thing. It reminds me of Steve Camp's music. If you listen to Christian contemporary music, Christian rock music in the 80s and in the 80s, Steve Camp, I didn't know why he wrote songs the way he did, but every song that he wrote was very heavy, really heavy, like conviction wise. Shake Me to Wake Me. Why are we some of the lyrics that I remember, paraphrasing lyrics, is like, why are we so comfortable in our churches when people are dying, and just all these songs. You couldn't listen to Steve Camp all day long because it was heavy. And I don't know that it could take Paul Washer every Sunday. I think one of the things that you pointed out, what was amazing was the clip that you took. For those of you who don't know, last Thursday night we did 2.5 hours, and then Len took a short clip and put it up, and it was Len critiquing Paul Washer and me really not paying attention to what he said or didn't say. And in that clip, Len mentioned a preacher that he did like. Josh Fritz is like, asks during this, Len, what is your cup of tea? Well, you said what your cup of tea was.
Yeah.
It was somebody like Phil Johnson. And interesting enough, no one commented on Phil Johnson. No one said a word about Phil Johnson on either the 2.5 hours or the short clip that you put up.
And I'll bet Paul. I bet you, if I had to guess, he would rebuke me on my opinion of Paul Washer, because I guarantee you, Phil Johnson loves Paul Washer, loves him.
Yeah,
they're probably friends, if I had to guess. But so yeah, that is my cup of tea. Yeah, I love it.
I know a person that goes to Paul Washer's church, and he's a real sincere guy. He doesn't talk that way, but he preaches that way. Very emotional.
I mean, what do you do with somebody who is like David Wood, for example? He is a repentant. He has a sociological, psychological. He's a psychopath. He is a diagnosed psychopath. He doesn't feel empathy at all. He's made videos about this. I'm not really speaking out of school. How long do you think he could sit under Paul Washer's teaching? Or not his teaching, his preaching. I'm talking about stylistically. The content is spot on. It's spot on. I mean, I how many times have you said that? Like I used to preach at college campuses all the time. I got that question probably every other time I went on campus, and I gave a very similar answer. It's perfectly within orthodoxy, but there's a lot more depth to it than that. I mean, that's kind of the shallow end of the pool theologically. There's more to it than that. That God died. It's because he wasn't just a man. That's what I would say. He wasn't just a man. I am just a man. You are just a man. He was fully man and fully God. So that because he has infinitely more value because of those traits and characteristics. That's all I would have expounded on. But listen, he's preaching to the choir, quite literally, at Shepherd's Conference. He's not speaking to people that he has to give a lot of deep information to. He's there. The Shepherd's Conference is a conference to encourage pastors. It's for them to go and get their cup filled, because pastors are pouring their cups out week in and week out. So ShepCon, I think, a very valuable conference. So Paul Washer is there to encourage the saints, not necessarily equip them with some new knowledge. I mean, I would venture to guess that most of the pastors in that room might be better theologians than Paul Washer. May not be as good of preachers or as famous, but they're probably better theologians, So it's a different audience, different purpose. So.
Yep.
So yeah. So to everyone who I offended,
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
No, you were going to say?
I was going to say unsubscribe. I make no apologies.
Some of them said they already did, so they'll never see this.
Yeah, that's fine. Don't let the doorknob hit you or the good Lord split you.
There you go. Hey, I did want to talk to you about women pastors.
Again?
Well, here's
pastors or preachers? Pastors or preachers?
Women.
There are no women pastors. Okay.
We disagreed. You think it's okay for women to preach on the street, and I said no. I went back and watched the clip, and I missed an opportunity because you were saying that in the local church there's a hierarchy. There's a clear and can you articulate that again? That within the local church and then within the home. Remember that?
Not particularly, but I mean that's certainly true.
It was your main point. Women aren't to preach in church because in
right, because there's no authority. There's no one she's taking authority over.
But in the local church, she's not allowed to preach because there's
an assumed authority in teaching. Look, it's just like in kindergarten. The teacher in front of the room has the authority over the students. So I mean, and biblically speaking, when you look at Hebrews 7 and Hebrews 13, the body is instructed to submit to the pastor as the one watching over their soul.
Right. And here's where I would take that and apply it to the street.
You can't apply it to the street unless you're pulling out chapters and verses.
Here's how I would apply it to the street, because do you think that every street preacher should be under the authority of the local church?
Yes, however, I would say that someone who is preaching biblically that their church forbids them from preaching should leave that church, because that is a terrible church. Now, if there's a question as to their orthodoxy, then they should not do it. If there's a question to their methodology, for example, let's say a person is handing out tracts that we're a Calvinistic church, right? And you're taking out chick tracts. That might be a problem. I might say, listen, you can go out there, just leave those at home. Leave those in your car. If you like them, fine. But don't pass them out while you're wearing, while you're carrying the banner of this church.
So, in light of the fact that all street preachers should be under the authority of the church, there's the authority.
Well,
just like they're under and how everything applies in the church, I would apply it right on the street.
Well, you can't, because the street isn't the church.
Sure, I can.
Well, you can, but the street is not the church, Tim.
I didn't say it was. But that's the foundation for me to be. That's the point of argumentation for.
So if your pastor said that no, every woman in here not only can be street preaching but should be street preaching, and I give it all of my full blessing, you have no argument.
Say that again.
If your pastor approved every woman in your church to open air preach and evangelize, then you have no argument.
Well, then I would say that wasn't a good church and you should go find another one, just like you did. Christopher Van Heusen said, let me bring this up. Here was his comment.
This is going to be a long show. Before we went on live, the first thing I said to Tim was like, could we please not go for 3 hours?
We don't have to go over all the topics that we have. How long have we been on now? We've been on 20 minutes. You want to?
I know, and we're not even past first base here.
You want to wrap it up now? I would like to point out that the only examples of open air preachers in Scripture are men. I believe that because in order to be qualified to plant a church in an area, as every one of those preachers did, you have to be qualified to lead that church. Not to mention the fact that in almost every instance of open air evangelism in Acts, the men who did the preaching were the same men who did the baptizing of the converts. And baptism is a ritual that carried out by the authority of the local church. So it should normally be performed by a man in a leadership role as an official representation of the church's authority.
You are using historical narratives, not didactic, not direct.
In last week, our guests, and I think at least our guests, I don't know what you did, were like, look at this story. Look at this story where this woman prophesied. See, this woman is on the street. She's prophesying. I should have said that last week, shouldn't I?
Yeah, maybe, but it doesn't prove anything because no one is claiming apostolic authority if they're within orthodoxy when they're open air preaching. I don't know a single open air preacher who's trying to plant a church or who's planting a church and then appointing pastors, elders and bishops and things like that, as the apostles did. So it's a massive conflation. That argument, it's what in legal speak, your argument proves too much. You were factual without being truthful.
That was another time I wasn't listening to your argument. Did you say something important? Did you say something?
Move on. I'm ready. Let's wrap this thing up. Let's go.
Do you want to go to COVID or the bishop, robbery, or
bishop,
lesbian
bishop,
regret?
Bishop.
We got lesbian regret today. All right, here's the bishop.
You're gonna get us banned on YouTube.
What are you talking about? Here we go. Fox 5.
Police are looking for the suspects after a Brooklyn bishop is robbed of more than $1 million in jewelry, and the incident was caught on camera during a live stream.
That's right. Bishop LamorMiller-Whitehead was delivering a sermon yesterday morning when he noticed the gun-wielding intruders. Police say the suspects targeted the bishop and his wife.
Keep your eye on the dude on the left, right on stage left of as you were looking at it. Look at him.
Yeah, I'm watching. Yeah.
No one was hurt, thankfully. Lisa Evers is in Canarsie with what the bishop had to say after this horrifying ordeal. Lisa.
Well, Stephen Laurie, this well-known Brooklyn Bishop LamorMiller-Whitehead holds his Sunday services in the space you see right behind me, with some of the faithful coming in person and many more watching his sermons via live stream. But on Sunday, his sermon was interrupted when armed robbers burst in.
I want you to look at the outside of that church building and remember that, okay?
Oh, yeah.
That for future discussion.
Yeah.
Yo. All right.
On Sunday, as Bishop LamorMiller-Whitehead delivered his sermon for his Leaders of Tomorrow ministry, police say 3 masked gunmen stormed in and rushed right for the bishop. They took more than $1 million worth of gold jewelry and gems, including a Rolex watch.
That's the outside of the church again.
From the bishop and his wife.
When I see them come into the sanctuary with their guns, I told everybody, get out.
No shots were fired. People here are stunned.
It was just shocking to know that in this neighborhood, something like that would happen. And it's threatening for the people that come to church that day. It's horrible. It's sad to know what's going on in the world right now.
The armed robbers ran out and then police say jumped into a white Mercedes.
Yeah.
This guy.
No way.
In this neighborhood, like, look at the car behind him has no back window. And on the spare tire, it says "Zombie Outbreak Response Team." In my neighborhood, I can't believe it happened in my neighborhood.
Wait, Tim, we can't question his authenticity here. We can't, just be nice. Be nice.
What's going on in the world right now?
The armed robbers ran out and then police say jumped into a white Mercedes for their getaway. Bishop Whitehead was in the news last May for attempting to negotiate the surrender of murder suspect Andrew Abdullah, wanted for the Q train shooting that took the life of Daniel Enriquez, who was on his way to Sunday brunch. Whitehead drove his $400,000 Rolls Royce to the 5th Precinct, but the NYPD took Abdullah into custody without his help. Whitehead has had his own contact with the criminal justice system, serving 5 years behind bars for identity theft and grand larceny.
It's my prerogative to purchase what I want to purchase. If I worked hard for it, I can purchase what I want to purchase.
Now, Mayor Adams took on the role of mentor to Bishop Whitehead when he was released from prison to help him turn his life around. He told the Daily News he'll do whatever is necessary to find those responsible. The NYPD tells us that a 911 call was made from the location and that this investigation is ongoing. We're live in Canarsie. I'm Lisa Evers, Fox 5 News.
Okay, so Tim, before we talk about this, I want you to go back to a frame of the preacher before he goes down, all right?
Before he goes down?
Yeah, before he lays down and everything. Before as the robbers are coming in. Just get a still frame of that, because it's an inside job and they're lying about the value. Okay, go back. You had it. Right there. Wait. You're so close. Just press play and I'll tell you when to pause it.
Yep. Right, I got it. You want him standing up, right?
Yeah, and that's fine. I just want where that chain around his neck is hanging.
That chain right there.
Yeah, that chain. So, okay. There's no way he's wearing $1 million worth of jewelry. Even if he has the most expensive Rolex he could possibly be wearing, there are way higher end Rolex. There are $1 million watches. Richard Mille, Audemars Piguet. There are many watches that approach the $1 million mark. Rolex is not one of them. About the most expensive Rolex that you could get would be a Daytona, a Panda, like a Daytona with a panda face. I even pulled up the reference number 6239. I'm a watch guy, so there's no way.
Somebody, I think that's someone in Korea, said, "Yeah, not in that owning a Rolex, not in that neighborhood."
Right. So this is an insurance job. This is a 100% insurance job. And there's no way it's $1 million worth of jewelry. That necklace on his neck, that's cute. Those are Cuban links. Even if that was 18 karat gold, which I very highly doubt it, that's about a 30-inch chain, probably about 15 millimeters. That might be 200 grams of gold, which would be somewhere in the neighborhood of seven ounces. Let's just say 7 ounces. So in gold value, that's about $12,000 worth of gold. Of course, you pay about a 5 to 8 time multiple on jewelry. So let's just go 8. So that's $103,000 max. If there's any chance anything is real, it's no more than $350,000 worth of jewelry. It's hard to get $1 million worth of jewelry. First of all, where'd you get it, felon? You turned your life around.
He says real estate.
Okay, great. And in New York, I suppose that's possible. let's just assume the best of this guy, that he turned his life around. He got mad money, and that's totally possible. And he got robbed for all that jewelry. It's not $1 million worth. And dude, that is an inside job. No, first of all, did you see guns?
Yeah.
Did you see guns?
Yeah, there were guns. Well,
okay.
They were. I don't know if they were real or not, but yeah.
And you're telling me a guy's walking around with $1 million on his body without security? I mean, dude.
Yeah. Well, here's another news clip. More news came out. News.
Sweet.
Right now at 5:30, more trouble for a Brooklyn bishop robbed during a Sunday service while it was streamed online. He is now being sued by a former parishioner. Welcome back. I'm Christine Johnson.
And I'm Dick Brennan. The bishop robbed at gunpoint last Sunday says there's been too much focus on his lifestyle and not enough on the crime that happened inside his church.
As CBS 2's Andrea Grimes reports, it comes amid a lawsuit filed against him.
And he must have knew something about a robbery. Are you kidding me? Let my church give us some sympathy.
Bishop LamorMiller-Whitehead fiercely defending himself at a press conference today, speaking just steps away from his Canarsie church that became a crime scene last weekend.
Yo. All right.
Police say 3 armed suspects caught on video robbed the bishop and his wife during last Sunday's service of $1 million worth of jewelry. Whitehead says instead of...
Yeah, you can see the gun.
There is no magazine in that gun, Tim. That the gun in the robber's left hand does not have a magazine in it. Scroll back like seconds. You'll see the gap where the magazine pushes in.
During last Sunday's service of $1 million worth of jewelry.
Right. Just a hair more. Just you went too far.
Well, he moved it.
Whitehead says instead of focusing on the terrifying crime and search.
I don't think that gun had a magazine in it. Anyhow.
Sunday's service of $1 million worth of jewelry.
Right there.
I got it. You don't have to yell.
You see that little? I'm pointing at my.
You're too emotional. You're not my cup of tea. You're just too emotional all the time. I would rather have a co-host who is more level-headed.
Right. Fair enough.
You're not like this on the phone. On the phone, you're just like a normal person.
Let me stoically say that pistol, if you look right above his knee, right. See at opposite ends, that gap, that little indent there, that is where the magazine pushes in and clips into place.
Bullets are expensive, Len.
Did you hear UPS is deliberately not delivering ammunition?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah. They're in the agenda.
Maybe that's what their UPS didn't.
Focusing on terrifying crime and search for suspects. He believes that.
Look at that guy in the back. This guy's hilarious.
He's in on it. Are you kidding me?
He's like, everybody's on the ground, and he's just like, I'm not here. So
he's just sitting there, just like a statue.
But you know what?
They won't notice I'm here.
Why isn't his head down though? Like,
because he's in on it, dude.
You would not. If he wasn't in on it, you wouldn't want these guys to know that somebody got a good look at you.
Right. Nobody came for him. Like, he's got a wallet, and his wallet probably has at least $25 in it. If you're a robber, you want everything. You don't want to leave no meat on the bone. That guy, they're all in on it. Okay.
He's with his garb on.
So yeah, that's not even a 15 millimeter Cuban link. That's probably more like a 12. That ring is. I can't see the watch. I see a watch on his left wrist under there, but it looks like it's iced out with aftermarket diamonds because it stainless steel and white gold don't shine like that, and it's not yellow gold. So that's probably aftermarket diamonds, which actually brings the value of a Rolex down by about 30%.
So, Len, if there's Curtis says he might have one in the chamber.
He took his mother's drapes and made an outfit.
Oh, this guy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on.
Let me push play.
Focused on his criminal history and what some describe as his lavish lifestyle.
Why is Fendi, Louis, and Gucci, why can't we wear that in the church? I'm not on a salary with my church. It's about having multiple streams of income. That's it.
Whitehead says he was previously convicted wrongfully of grand larceny and scheme to defraud. He also addressed a lawsuit filed against him last September by a church member. The suit alleges Whitehead promised, quote, in exchange for $90,000, he would assist plaintiff in purchasing and renovating a house. Instead, court documents allege Whitehead took the money and used it to help buy a $4.4 million home for himself.
Okay. So here's
playing. I want to see if in the press conference he has any kind of a watch on his wrist.
In Saddle River, New Jersey.
I can't get into the
it's right wrist
of this
no, that's
fictitious claim against me.
Whitehead has talked about his relationship with
I don't see a watch on his left hand.
Mayor Adams, describing him as a mentor and friend. Today, the mayor weighed in.
Lamar and any other individual that I support, I continue to try to mentor. As a black man, I have an obligation to mentor other black men that had negative encounters in their lives.
What would happen if you said that, Len?
I don't think you should believe it. I don't believe. What did he just say?
As a black man, I have a responsibility to mentor other black men.
Well, I mean, look, these people are all racist and not intelligent, but you shouldn't believe a criminal defending an accused criminal.
And other people in general.
An attorney for the plaintiff in that lawsuit had no comment. Meantime, Whitehead is calling on the three suspects in the robbery to turn themselves in.
Okay, here's my point. The guy lives in a $4-point-something million home. He has over $1 million in jewelry. He drives a $400,000 Rolls Royce. And this is his church front.
Because
why doesn't he tithe to his church and get them a building?
Well, now you're under the assumption he cares.
There's no reinvestment. Even if it's legit, he's getting his money outside the church. God's blessed him. If he's going to be true to his Christianity, God's blessed him. Why isn't he tithing to his own church so they can get out of that little storefront with, the lighting? I have that lighting in the studio in the basement of my church that he had on there. And just some blankets, rugs thrown up against the wall behind him.
You forgot the sentence he said in his press conference. It's about multiple streams of income. And this is another stream of income. I'd be interested. I don't look it up because I don't care that much. But he's live streaming. So whatever platform he's on, he may be getting paid for the live stream. This is cheap studio space. You know, if he can get 15, 20, maybe even 40 people through the door, all to give the 10% of what little they have, I mean, it's just another stream of income. So, but he lied. Even if it is real jewelry, it wasn't $1 million worth of jewelry, and it's an inside job. Inside job.
Listen to how he introduces himself here. This is his Facebook page. He doesn't have that many followers. He's got over 1 million on Instagram.
He's going to have like a dozen more after this podcast.
Instagram, 1.6 million.
Oh, there you go. There you go. He's an influencer. Some of that jewelry might have been given to him.
See him in his car. Here he is in his car.
Grace and peace from me and my Princess. Happy Father's Day to everyone. Happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Listen, come out and meet us at church. We at 922 Remsen Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11236. 9:30 we start. Sundays are for church. Come on out and worship with us, y'all. Come on. Let's.
Why wouldn't you want to worship?
What a shame a clown vomited all over that nice suit.
17 hours ago, he did a prayer video. Let's see how he introduces himself here. Let me see if I can.
Christ. My name is Chief Apostle Bishop.
My name is Chief Apostle Bishop.
See, now he can street preach and plant churches. This is what the Bible's talking about.
Of Jesus Christ. My name is Chief Apostle Bishop LamorMiller-Whitehead.
Chief Apostle Bishop. Chief. Not just apostle. Chief. That's impressive, Len.
And we thank you guys. We thank you for being a part of this prayer line. I want you to share.
So he does a live stream.
He's got the binaural beats playing in the background.
12,000 in 16 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody says, this is comedy. This comedy is not even funny anymore. Be safe. I must unfollow. There you go.
He's got one smart follower.
Some people
or used to have one. He lost his one intelligent follower. All right, this is enough of this. Let's move on.
All right, where do you want to go now? You want to go to you want
I don't
to
know. You tell me. You take me where we're going. You're driving the bus, Tim.
All right, we're going to go to lesbian regret. How about that? You want to go to lesbian regret?
Yes.
Where's lesbian regret? There's. Let me. While I find it, let me
check your DMs.
I have a direct message from somebody. Oh well, no, I got it up here somewhere.
Okay, all right.
There it is. Okay, so this is from TikTok, and this is a lady who is a lesbian, and she has regret. She wants to share with the world.
So here it is, the most unpopular opinion I'll ever do. I hope you guys do it.
I don't know why that went away. Let me do this and reboot my screen in case something funky comes up.
So here it is, the most unpopular opinion I'll ever do. I hope you guys duet and stitch and save or whatever you need to do to this because it's going to get down fast. If I would have understood when I was younger that fighting for my rights as a lesbian would mean allowing children to drag shows, attaching child molesters to our community, and allowing children to change their sex before they even know what their favorite color is. I would have never done it. Never.
Well, it's a bit too late for a lot of kids, but thank you for your.
So that gentleman right there is what you call on TikTok stitching it. He played it and then he added his own stuff. So he's saying, giving his opinion. Len, why did you want to show that to people?
Well, one, because for a couple of reasons. It should be noted that people who we don't agree with in any sense, right, theologically, politically, morally, in any way, are starting to come to a bit of light, if you will, and that should be a bit of a white pill. However, I'm strongly on the black pill. However, I would like to say to this woman, some of us have been warning you since the early 90s about a slippery slope. And, oh, that's a slippery slope argument. Hey, look, Now we've gone over the cliff. The slippery slope led right where everybody warned you it would. And I don't want to be the kind of ungracious guy to say, well, see, I told you so. But I told you so. Not just me, but, for the last 30 plus years, Christian conservatives have been talking about the slippery slope for years. Like, where is the end? What is the limiting principle to this morality that you're trying to impose on us? Because that was the accusation. You're imposing your morality. You can't impose morality and you can't legislate morality, which are two of the most nonsensical things ever. Okay, well, where does this logically lead? What is the limiting principle here? Because you're look, this is all about like the moral argument for the existence of God, right? By what standard? By what standard is it wrong for pedophiles to have drag shows in front of children?
Right.
By what standard, dear lesbian?
Right. See, that was the thing that I wrote down is this is her line. Her morality line. Like everything on this side is okay, and then all right, now in her mind, the drag queens and the transgender surgery, that's crossed her line.
Right.
But that's only her line.
Exactly. And then how could we have known? Well, people have been warning of this. People who have been mocked, scorned, and ridiculed were warning of this 35, 30, 25, 20 years ago.
But it's the people. But it's the people. The importance is the people who've been pointing it out that we want to lift up are those who have the absolute standard. The ones who said lesbianism is against God's law, God's commandments.
Right.
So, yeah, we told you. Yep, you're recognizing it. You know what's interesting in this same realm, Len, of the world coming to proper conclusions? How much do you watch man stuff, like not self-improvement, but I scroll through a lot of social media and I see
manosphere. Everybody knows you're talking about the manosphere. Is that what you're asking about?
Men who are worldly successful, right? Worldly successful. They're not Christians and they give advice. Do you know what advice they're giving? Like, do you know what advice they're giving about pornography now, Len?
To stop.
Yeah. Yeah. It actually studies have secular studies and the science shows, and these people who are not saved, who want to encourage other men who are not saved to be successful, they're saying stop watching pornography because it messes you up in multiple ways. It's weird how these ungodly people are coming to godly conclusions.
Well, excuse me. I mean, at some point the facts are right in your face and you can only ignore them for so long. So broken watch is right twice a day.
Josh Fritz says that you are funny.
Oh, am I a clown to you? What am I, funny? Funny looking?
I think that's all the topics that Len can handle this evening.
No, we got time for one more.
49 minutes. It'd be great. It'd be great to end at 49 minutes. Okay. One little one?
No, let's quit.
Because the last one could get us banned.
Well, let's go. Oh, no.
Well, okay. We'll let her say it. Let me see here. Okay. You know that link you sent to that comedian that was mocking
the
thing?
Yeah.
Mocking the thing. That link's gone. He took it down. He claimed it. The comedian did.
Really?
All right, so this just in from Dr. Burks. She was the one that wore the scarf, and she was guiding our President Trump.
Yeah, in the early days of the pandemic, remember when Trump was every day he was doing press conferences with her and Tony Fauci. Every day. She was there. This is the
my wife
banality of evil.
I can't complete my sentence because I already said something. All right. I won't say that.
I knew these vaccines were not going to protect against infection, and I think we overplayed the vaccines. 50% of the people who died from the Omicron surge were older, vaccinated. So that's why I'm saying, even if you're vaccinated and boosted, if you're unvaccinated right now, the key is testing and Paxlovid. I knew.
Dude, I have got to find Tucker Carlson tonight. Oh my goodness. Tucker Carlson was talking about COVID and how Trump said that COVID was the disease or the sickness of the unvaccinated. And Tucker Carlson tonight said, as far as I can tell, President Biden, you have COVID more than anybody in America right now. And you are completely boosted and vaccinated, blah, blah, blah.
You want to hear my conspiracy theory?
Yes.
I think Joe Biden is dead.
Can we title that? Can we title the video that? I think Joe Biden is dead.
Well,
I think. Come on. He's not dead. What comment on the video that we just saw?
Well, I wish it would have played longer, because if I were that reporter, I'd have been like, wait a second. What did you just say? Wait, repeat that, because you stood in front of Americans. You cost airline pilots, military personnel, countless people their jobs who refuse vaccination, doctors and nurses. And you knew? That is the banality of evil. That is the kind of evil that walks up and shoots a Jew in the back of the head while they're kneeling in front of a trench. That is unspeakably evil. To know the truth, hold the lie, and watch people die because of your lies.
Why doesn't every home in the U.S.
It's all right.
It's insane to me that these, like, dude, there should be like gallows in the streets. And these people should be made an example of. You know, they look, you have Ceausescu's ideology, you should get Ceausescu's wall. That's kind of how I feel about it. But yeah, I'm starting to become more and more of a fan of retribution, and I have to check my theology when I start to have those feelings.
You're a pacifist, Len. You're a pacifist.
Yeah, I know. It's my flesh. The flesh is weak.
All right, let's lean back, Len. Lean back in your chair now. We've covered all the topics, and now this is the after show.
All right.
Remember when we were big and famous and we used to do a show?
No,
every
I never
week.
remember that.
We were so big and famous that there was an after show. Our viewers would have an after show for like 3 hours.
Hours.
Talking about what we talked about. Oh, how we have fallen.
Well, those people hate us now, so. And that's the future of everyone listening to this podcast, just so you know. And
Josh Fritz gives a hearty amen to that.
Within the next 12 to 18 months, you will all hate us. That is my message to our listeners.
So what should we title this one?
I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. We talked about the slippery slope.
I title it multiple topics.
I think Joe Biden's dead is probably a pretty catchy title.
All right.
I think you should make the thumbnail a Joe Biden laying on the ground with the guy like robbing the preacher standing over him with the gun.
Okay. Yeah, that'll
just in case there's a chance we don't get banned from YouTube, that will take care of it.
I'm duck going, is Joe Biden alive? And nothing inappropriate should show up. So
you're taking a chance here.
Joe Biden is now officially dead.
Hey, look, he's gotten COVID twice. He hasn't been out of quarantine. He's working from home. They're releasing these bizarre videos.
The QAnon is saying that he is dead.
Perfect. Perfect. What little credibility I had after last week.
Post videos on an app, Telegram, where he has more than 844,000 followers. Wood claimed he went looking for Biden, whom he dubbed Joe. Wait, where does it say he's dead? Here it is. Suggesting that Lynn Wood has posted a bizarre social media story claiming that he saw Donald Trump hanging out and working in the Oval Office this week and suggested
those people are so silly. Any day now, Trump's gonna ride in on a white horse and
hey, I have a wager with someone.
Well, that's sinful.
And I am going to get a very fine bottle of Hazard's
Diet Pepsi. 2 liters.
Is it peanut butter or is it caramel? Salted caramel beverage. If Donald Trump is not president by mid-November of this year, if he's not reinstated, I am getting a bottle of caramel salted.
You got to stop hanging around whack jobs.
Why? I can get free bottles of adult beverages.
That psychopath might beat you over the head with that bottle.
She's a little woman. She's not.
She needs the bottle.
She doesn't live in my house. Let's make that clear. So there you go. I think Joe Biden is dead. That's the title. Thanks for watching, everybody. And if the Lord tarries and we feel like it, we'll be on next Thursday. So subscribe, share, leave your comments.
Or don't.
But if you leave a negative comment against Len, expect to be, what do you call it? Verbally
raped. Oh, I can't. I can't say that.
We got flagged.
You're gonna
every single video that we do live, YouTube says inappropriate, and I have to go and say, please manually review this video because it is appropriate. So
assaulted. I'm not commenting to anybody anymore, by the way.
That's the fun thing about Len. He chases off listeners. He insults. Yep. How stupid can you be? You're listening to us.
Yep.
You idiot. How can you possibly say that?
Yeah, people, whenever you
lack intellectual maturity. What did you say to that guy?
I don't remember. I smeared so many people this week. I don't. They all kind of run together.
All right, everybody. Comment below, and we'll see you later. God bless.